Hello everyone, Danny here today to talk to you about the book Forensics, what bugs, burns, prints, DNA, and more tell us about crime. This book actually covers a lot more subjects than the title would lead you to believe. Each chapter is its own subject, and it covers everything from what you would expect: crime scene investigation, DNA, blood splatter, to subjects you wouldn't expect to be in there: fire scene investigation, the courtroom, digital forensics, forensic psychology. With each chapter, there are several stories, real life, true crime stories, that some of the stories have to deal with the history of the subject matter. Some of the stories, most of the stories have to do with the history of the subject matter, actually. But some of the stories come before the science was developed and tell about a crime which, might have been able to be solved had they had the knowledge we have now. For instance, in the fire scene investigation, it starts off with a story about London burning and everything that went on with London burning and how that has, evolved to where we are now, to where nowadays we might have a better idea of what went on then. Some chapters may only have one story. The crime scene investigation chapter pretty much has one main story that it uses to tell the entire chapter. Some chapters have multiple stories broken out through them. There are parts that are sciencey. There are parts that are revoltingly disgusting. The weird part is not only are they revoltingly disgusting, but they are thoroughly fascinating. They go into detail about flies and maggots and how maggots work, and it's fascinating and utterly disgusting at the same time. Bodily decomposition, all kinds of weird stuff. There are times when they will compare the true science to what you see on TV or in books. During the crime scene investigation, you learn that crime novels and mystery novels didn't come about until crime scene investigation became a thing, because prior to that, there wasn't anything really to write about. And you learn some about some of the influence that crime novels and mystery novels have had on the science, as well as some of the impact that the science has had on both TV and on mystery novels. Those were some of the things that I found quite interesting. Narrator does a wonderful job. The book is written by a British author, so all of the stories tend to come, they don't all come, but they tend to come from Great Britain. When she names, top scientists in the field or people in the field, they are people from Great Britain. The narrator has an accent. She does, when there's one point where she's telling a story about Americans, and her accent almost completely disappears, so she's good enough to get rid of her accent. And of course, to someone in Great Britain, I would have the accent. But to me, being an American, they have the accent. That's just kind of the way accents work. So, wonderful narrator. Really enjoyed her narration. The chapters average about an hour. And there were some chapters that were so thoroughly engrossing, you just kept listening. Typically, when I'm listening to a book like this, I'm wanting to learn something. And so I will listen to a chapter, and at the end of the chapter, I've got to go on to listen to something else, because I just can't keep focused on the subject matter at hand. That is not the case, and I am about to sneeze, so excuse me 1 second here. Sorry, I don't want to sneeze on camera. That is not the case here. I did not at the end of a chapter feel, and it'd be an hour and 20-minute chapter, and I'd still feel like listening to more. The crime scene investigation, the fire scene investigation, I forget what it's called anyhow, the chapter on bugs. I listened to those 3 chapters straight through, nonstop, over 3 hours of listening. It's rare for me to be able to do that with a nonfiction book like this, where I'm just listening to it to learn something. Really good book. Definitely recommend it. That's about it. If you have any questions or comments, any kind of feedback, please send it my direction. If you like my channel, please subscribe and have a very wonderful day. Thank you.